class today is cut trees and greens. Thought I would feature a couple things if we have time, and I'm sure we will. Go inside and show you some of the new poinsettia examples we have that just came in. They're really neat. So they literally just came in. Thought you all would appreciate that. It's not related to the class, but anyway, shall we go up and walk? I'll show you the different styles, which ones last the longest, how to tell the freshest of that bunch, and then we'll cover greens and just some products that keep them fresh, and then maybe stands, that kind of stuff, because stands are a mysterious thing, and there's some bad ones and there's some good ones. I'll just go over my take on what a good stand and what a bad stand, how to keep themselves upright, that kind of stuff. Sound good? Maybe 30 minutes. That's what we're looking at walking outside. Okay. So the main thing to watch with Christmas trees of any size, when you're looking at any variety, any size that you like, weight is the number one way I tell. So if you're asking me which one's freshest, if you're looking at between two trees, I'll go and I'll lift the two up and I'll pick the heaviest one. Not the best look, because water is heavy. Yeah. The tree with the most water in it is going to be the heaviest. And then when you take it outside at the end of the season, it'll be feather light compared to when you brought it. You could barely lift it to get it in the house. By the time you get it out, it's feather light. The other way to watch is pull your finger across the needles, and if the needles actually bend, they're flexible, that's fresh. So at least that branch is fresh. Now generally a tree will dry out from the top and work its way down. So you might want to take something chest high a little above, check those needles, and if you see a whole bunch of needles dropping off, don't go by that. Go by, do the needles bend or are flexible? The way conifers work, on the inside of the tree, like sometimes you'll see some of these needles will drop off. That's natural. Even in your own yard, fresh trees will have the inside needles will be brown, just because as a tree flushes new growth, it shades the inside needles and they naturally drop. And so you notice your ponderosa pines, your ostriches, they're naturally dropping pine cones right now, and they're naturally dropping needles. Don't go by the needles on the inside, check the ones on the outside. That's what you're looking for. We try to shake them and move them and get some of those needles out as we're setting them up. But what you're looking for is that freshness on the outside. Then also look for the color. You see a whole bunch of yellow on the leaves. They should be rich green, or in the case of Fraser's, rich blue. You're looking for the color, and you all are gardeners, so you know kind of what a healthy tree looks like. Go for that with a cut tree as well. So if it's off color a little bit, that's probably either a sick tree or it's starting to dry out sooner than others. So kind of watch for that. Those are kind of your insider secrets for that. Also, when I'm looking at a tree, I'll look for, like this has got a broken branch, but look for the top. Make sure it's not broken or it dropped off, or just kind of check your tops. Now that might not be so important for you, depending on what your topper on your tree is. Some people want that top off so they've got room to put that spray of picks or big star or angel kind of stuff. So make sure you check the tops, because the top of a tree is like the most important thing. The other one I'll look for is at the base. You'll see this is a Douglas fir. Douglas fir I never put up myself. The reason we sell Douglas fir here at the Garden Center is because it allows us to compete head on with Depot and Lowe's. It's a low entry point tree. It's thick, it's hard to decorate, I find. It doesn't hold heavy ornaments, but it's inexpensive. The reason that is, it grows twice as fast as the other trees that we'll show you in a second. So your Douglas firs, because they're pushing two flushes of growth each year, they should be about half the price of, let's say, the other trees. And they're grown at lower elevation. Because of that, you'll notice the trunks on a Douglas fir are about half the size of a trunk on a Fraser or Nordman or some of these other trees. And we'll show you that in just a second, how it plays out. It affects the weight. So these have smaller trunks, which this is the water holding capacities in the trunk. it holds the water here and then uses it up here. Not only that, it's got smaller trunk. It also has twice the foliage. So it dries out twice as fast. So there's not a chance you'll get a Douglas fir to last between now and Christmas. I mean, I don't care what you do. You can get it to maybe not drop all of its needles, but I would not put up a Douglas fir at this point. I'd wait till right before Christmas. So that's just my personal take. I'll show you what I'm going to put up myself, and then you can kind of judge where you want to go from there. But those are what you're looking at. So let's go down this way, and we'll show you what I personally like. So there's two that I really favor. One thing to watch too, the grade of Christmas trees is going to change this year and next. What you'll find is what you used to get this beautiful lush noble fir. There are no noble firs. They're all been used. The economy finally caught up with the tree market. So trees take typically 7 to 8 years to grow to be nice. When was that? About 2008, 2009, 2000, right in there. So the recession back then is now affecting and worked its way through the tree market. And so there were 2 years when the farmers didn't plug any trees. They were just trying to survive. And so there were 2 years when they didn't farm. And so now that wave is hitting us this year and next year. It's even worse next year. So the advice I can give you is don't wait to buy your tree. Buy it early. Take it home. Keep it wrapped. Put it in the shaded areas. You don't have to set it up in your yard yet or in your house. Put it on the back deck that's on the north side. Put it under the deck. I'm going to take mine home this weekend and put it on the north side under the deck, and I'll just keep it there, laid down. I'm not going to water it. I'll just make sure I put a fresh cut before I bring it indoors, and I'll set it up that typical 10 to 14 days before Christmas. I'm going to take it home so I have it. I predict we will start running out of trees by next weekend. I predict not just us, the entire market is going to run out. We'll see how that plays out, but I'd almost put money on it. So just kind of be aware. If you're that kind of person who wants to wait until the day before Christmas to set up your tree, buy it early. Don't come in later and expect the tree to be left. There won't be any. That's my prediction. So, and it's because of the recession. It has also affected the quality. So they're just letting them. Usually they'll trim them a couple times a year to keep them shapely. Because there's this catch-up mode, they're just letting them grow. So you'll see a noble fir without the layering. It's just this big open, mangy. It's not been trimmed. So it's more difficult than ever to find a grade A. It's easy to find a grade B, C, D, but it's hard to find grade A's.
This is a noble fir?
This is a Fraser fir. This is one I'm going to go with myself. The reason I like Fraser fir, it's got this two-toned needle. It's got the perfect pyramidal shape, and as it dies, as it dries out, the needles of the tree will actually lock the needle onto the tree. It doesn't let it go, so it doesn't shed. No matter how dry it could be June next year. This will still have needles on it. It's amazing. But it's got nice stiff branches, so to hold those ornaments. It's got good layering, stiff branches. You'll even notice the needles are a little thicker, so that even the needles are holding moisture. And I haven't looked to see what this trunk is, but the trunk is twice what that was. And these are also grown. So this is the trunk on it's this big around. So it's got twice. The other trunk was probably 6 inches round. This is 8 or 10 inches round. It's got more water holding capacity within the trunk itself. It's got nice layering, thicker branches. Let's see if I can get it out. And just the weight, if you were to lift this one up, it's a little bit taller tree, but just this tree will weigh twice as much as the Douglas fir, which means it has twice the water within the structure of the tree. But mainly I just like this one because it's got that frosted kind of look to it. These are grown at higher elevations as well, so we're looking for farms at very high elevation. So they only flush one flush of growth a year, and then which means that the wood is denser too. So it actually can hold more moisture longer within that structure of that tree. Just makes for a better tree. Perfect shape. The other one is Nordman fir. Let's show you what those are.
You have your sign here. It says
Yeah, they're kind of getting mixed up. That's just a price shine. Nordmans are like this. It's all green. There's no blue to it, but a really thick needle. So it has a nice soft. You almost want to hug this tree. But again, a high altitude tree. The trunk on it is. Some of these are quite large. I mean, ridiculously large. This one, as it dries out, it will shed some needles. So I would say use a tree bag or something underneath it to help you get it out from the living room to the front door without dropping needles from here to there. Is highly recommended. But it does hold its needles. You could easily buy this. A couple tricks I'll show you in a minute and have it last to the new year easily and keep it going. One thing to watch when you're first putting these up, these trees with the bigger trunks, they use a lot of water. It's amazing how much water they'll uptake because of the size of the trunk. So there you want to watch probably at least a pint to maybe almost a quart a day. Is how much it will actually take up. So check it daily. And then as you're watering, don't water with cold water. Trees will take up warm water better than cold water. So what I'll do, typically I've got a big bowl, and I'll show you with the stand that I use in a second, but I've got some water in there. I'll take as hot a tap water as I can, and I'll refill that quart or whatever it is to kind of warm up all that water, because the pores of the tree will actually open up and take warm water up better than cold water. So it's just a little insider tip. That goes for cut flowers as well. So warm water does better than cold. Same for trees. It's just this is a huge living bouquet, basically. We decorate for a month. Don't use Sprite, 7-Up, sugar. Don't clog up the pores with sugars. We don't want, the thing's not going to grow. It's not good. We can't encourage it. All those syrups do is clog up the pores. I do like to use the tree preservative. There you go. You can kind of see that. The tree preservative does help keep the pores open. I do use this with when I first fill up the tree. I'll add this and then keep it going. From that point on, I tend to just use warm water. It's kind of this is what I do. And my tree easily lasts with freshness till Christmas. And I like the jumbo tree bags. So these are humongous trash bags. I'll put it down on the ground before I even get started. And then I'll put my mat on top of that, and then I'll put my tree on. I just want to basically take that bag and wrap it up over the tree at the end of the season, right? And get it outside the front door without all those needles. Then I don't care. Once it's outdoors, I don't care. But inside the house, I don't want to trash up my house. Shall we go over here and I'll show you a couple tricks that keeps it really fresh, kind of almost guaranteed. That's how to check the freshest tree. Right here is how to keep the freshest tree fresh. I've got some of my folks, they'll keep a tree past Valentine's this way. So here's what I use. Before I bring my tree in the house, I'll set it up and I'll spray it with cloud cover. This is an agricultural product. It's actually a garden product. We use this on Japanese maples, yews, hollies, things that stress in our Arizona sun. We'll spray this, puts a nice clear sheen to it. It's like a latex that locks the moisture in. Well, it also works exceptionally well on Christmas trees. So you spray the foliage, gives it kind of a shiny, moist, healthy look. I'll let it dry, then I bring it indoors, and that just keeps it from perspiring. That's one trick. Really works on wreaths, garlands, things that maybe don't have the trunk to it. They dry out really fast. Well, cloud cover makes a big difference on that. What else? Stands. Let's see, the most popular stand is this one. Now I'll go this way. I know it looks funny. It's rebar. But we drill all of our trees with a 1/2-inch hole, perfectly straight. You just hammer this in, and you don't have to tie the thing down. We'll have a wind come through here, and the trees will stay up. It is just perfect. It sure beats the ones that you clamp down the sides, trying to keep, then you're still taking fishing line and trying to hold it up. These things, you could tackle this, and it will still stay up straight. But mainly it's got 2.5 gallon of water holding capacity. So now you get a big tree, this will hold it upright, and it's got a big enough basin. Some of the stands are so small, the water basin is only this big, the trunk is this big. You don't even have enough capacity to water the tree properly. And so I've never had a problem with this leaking. I've been using it for over a decade in my own house, almost 2 decades. Am I that old? That's a stand I'd recommend. The main thing is to watch is just make sure you get enough capacity and check it daily. Even with this, I am amazed at how much water a tree will take up every single day. Questions? Got it? So the coupon, all these cute trees, I'm going to take a couple home myself, but any one of those that are decorative, half price when you buy up basically anything. Let me get that over there just for you more today. So, okay. And then you want to see a couple new poinsettias, just displays, just things you haven't seen before. I don't get excited anymore, but these got me all giddy. We go to parties, and I always take a poinsettia to parties. So we're trying to get just some insider tips. Like out of all the poinsettias here, we're really careful to keep them warm, so we always keep them we don't want them to get breezy or cold. When you're putting them in your house, probably don't put them by the front door where people are using it all the time, because that cold draft will actually affect the poinsettias as they start to defoliate, especially on the inside. They'll just drop their bracts. So out of all of these, I generally wouldn't care for, I hate to tell you this, but I probably wouldn't buy this one. I'd rather buy this one, because this one's closest to the door. Just because I don't know how the cold, we keep everything off the ground, because the ground affects the poinsettias. The cold floor affects the poinsettias. These are tropical plants from Mexico. They like the tropics, so they like to be 75 degrees or so. Just watch the drafts, watch the, I guess that goes for your Christmas trees too. Don't have that breeze drying out your poinsettias. The new ones though, we had this come in. I just like the design, it looks floral. They just took a couple 4-inch plants and put some greens in it, and away it just looks beautiful.
Is that a box? What's
just
that?
a fancy container. You could hang
It's
it on
like
the wall.
It's metal or something?
It's plastic, resin.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, come on in, Ella. Here, we'll move over here. I want to show off this one anyway. Just something new and different. To see that you could hang it on a wall or a door, or just have it on a table is kind of neat. This one I'm going to take to some parties, because it's got a chalk pot. You can write chalk. You know, thank you for the party, what a great hostess, whatever, or Merry Christmas. And so you can actually write on, it's the same format, but just helps you write on the pot, personalize. There's one other, I guess this is the same thing. We're trying to get creative, fun, but not florists. Florists take cuttings, we're taking plants and making floral designs out of them. There's one other in an antique farm jug. It looks like I couldn't have sold all of them, but they were cute. Let's see if I can find it. Anyone see one in a metal pot? They may all be. Okay, I wasn't the only one that got excited about them. So like an antique milk jug.
Oh, and as far as...
I guess never mind, that one was ugly. You wouldn't have liked that. I would look for just a container made of moss with just fun. It's just fun. You're trying to be getting more fun things. So watch your poinsettias, keep them warm. Don't buy the ones by the doors. When I cringe every time I go to the grocery store and I see them right at the entrance with the doors open and closed. Oh, there's no way they'll last. And people blame themselves when their poinsettias start defoliating. It wasn't them. They bought one that was cold, it was chilled, so it just never did last. So with that, I'll release you.
Thank you.
Any way I can help you, let me know. Thanks folks for listening online. Thank you for tuning in.